No question, Jerod. There's no question that it did come up in recruiting. When we were recruiting other guys, they want to look and see, okay, who have you put into who's gotten drafted and who's recently gotten drafted. And I think it was important for us to have guys begin to get drafted. You know, we have guys in the NBA. Dwayne was with the 3 years and signed a 3-year deal with the Pacers. But there's no question it is an important thing to be able to do that. Listen, it's been 10 years and we've had 4 players drafted. There are teams in our league that have had as many as 10 or 11. So it's good to be able to kind of get back and celebrate this day. And hopefully this is, this is a sign of things to come. We understand that, if it was just about who was getting drafted in the NBA and that equated to on-court success, it'd be probably, like Duke and Kentucky every year. It's not necessarily always about that, but this is a great moment for these 2 kids and their families.
When a team gets him, obviously he's so young. What are they getting? What do you see in him that is that unique skill set to the next level?
It's in all likelihood, he's going to go somewhere between Malaki will go somewhere between, I would say, as you mentioned, 8 to I think the top end range could be somewhere 20 or early 20s, depending on what happens. What happens as you get closer to the draft is teams close ranks and they really try. They just talk amongst themselves and they begin to get decisions amongst their scouting departments and their general managers. And then occasionally you'll get a call from a general manager or a scout and they'll say, "Hey, what are you hearing about such and such? What teams like your guy?" They'll try to get some intel on that, but they really pretty much close ranks right now. I think whoever gets Malaki is getting a young man full of potential that is, in many ways being picked because of his upside. He's 19 years old. He's 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. He's an elite shot maker. Could he have used another year of college and development? Sure, you could make that argument. Certainly Ohio State fans would have loved to see him as a Buckeye a year longer, but he is he's ready for this next step. And physically, he's going to have to get there. He's going to have a lot of development in terms of strength, but he is ready right away to help a team with his elite shot making.
From the outside, what my perception of your relationship with EJ has been like, and I would imagine on your list of players you've enjoyed coaching, he's probably either at the very top or knocking on the door of the top. When you're turning the keys over to an NBA team that's going to draft him, where do you think his abilities will shine most at that level? When everything's tested, he's the kind of kid that I think you think will probably just respond to that.
I do. He's a great example of what returning to college for one more year can provide. He was 50-50 last year on whether to stay in the draft. Now, his draft position was not near as good. He did not have a good, what's at that point was called a G League combine. He just did not have a great showing there. He made a really smart decision. And honestly, I was pretty vocal about, you have to be careful how vocal you are in these situations. But I was pretty honest with his family about him needing to come back. And he came back and had an even better year than he had the year prior and improved his draft stock, Jerod, as much as 25 to 30 positions, which is really in some ways unheard of. Kids don't typically make that significant of a jump. So it's a tremendous credit to him, his work ethic. We had some conversations last offseason about how we could do some things schematically, maybe to help him position himself for NBA teams. And we committed to doing that, and he committed to working, and it's going to work out really, really good for him. I think he's going to be a really solid 8 to 10, 12-year NBA player. I really do.
Do you play the role of a parent? Do you play the role of a dad in these situations when you see a kid? It's like walking across the stage graduation, right? There's a little bit of pride in everybody. How is it for you on that end of it to watch what you've worked so hard with in a partnership to help them build something pretty unique and watch them get to that moment?
It's going to be emotional. You get so personally invested in these guys. I've sat in their living rooms and at their homes, and we've had multiple conversations conversations. I've had long conversations with moms and dads and grandparents and aunts and uncles who really I had so many conversations with Malachi's uncle through the recruiting process and through this past year. And so you build this relationship, you get really emotionally tied to these guys because what their potential is, but often kids who are ranked where they're ranked don't play in the NBA. So you want that potential to be realized. Some of the struggles that we all have in life that maybe, they had growing up, and you just, you really do get emotionally tied. I think this with EJ, and I made the decision to spend, the night before at Malachi's draft party and then trek through, from New York City to Belleville through a couple flight cancellations, making my way here to Belleville just because EJ was really a part of our first recruiting class. He was a significant guy in terms of how he carried himself on and off the floor, as well as an outstanding player. He's got a beautiful family, love both families. It's just, EJ being here and his family being here 3 years. They came from Illinois. He was Mr. Basketball, 2-time Mr. Basketball. He took the chance to come over with us. And I think he's going to go down as a really, really beloved Ohio State player because of how he's carried himself on and off the court. And it's going to be emotional. Yeah, you do feel whatever that label is, parent, you do feel some of those parental feelings when you see a young man go through this moment.
Well, I got you. Let me ask you one last thing, and it's because I have seen some of the videos you've posted from summer training and some of the excitement you have for this class coming in, which is, again, one of the best in America, as people have rated it as such, and you've got players of the year from different states coming in. I'm just wondering, in the early returns, we're sitting here at the end of June, but in your early returns, what have you seen in this crew that you like and where you want to go?
It's been really good. We have 4 freshmen that I believe are gonna play early. And Bryce Sensabaugh was Mr. Basketball in Florida. Bruce Thornton was Mr. Basketball in Georgia. Roddy Gale had a terrific career both in New York and then in his prep school. And Felix Akpara is a 6'11" center who's an athletic 6'11" center. All 4 of those guys are going to play right away. They'll go through some growing pains. What we've seen right now is they got to get in better shape. They've been on campus 2 weeks. They thought they came in good shape. They came in good high school shape. There's a difference. So we've got a long ways to go to get them to there. We've got a lot of time, obviously, before the start of the season. But it's about strength, fitness, conditioning. But the early returns have been really good. It is early, just 2 weeks in. But I really believe our fans are going to enjoy watching this group. It's a really fun freshman group that we've added here. And as you mentioned, the 5th ranked recruiting class in the country and the best in Big Ten.
Yeah.